There's a new biography about music legend Bob Marley called Bob Marley One Love. It's a movie I wasn't expecting too much from and was concerned that it was going to be a mundane biographical film where they tried to sneak in social justice issues with a clumsy, misguided script. But after seeing it, what did I think? Well, let's talk about it.
I don't really feel like talking right now, okay?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Poprageous. I'm Danny Alex. I'm an award-winning screenwriter here in Los Angeles, and even though you may not agree with everything I have to say about movies and pop culture, I give my honest truth as I see it here from inside Hollywood. At the end of my review, I'll give you my score out of 10, so stick around. Bob Marley One Love was directed by Reinaldo Marcus Green and stars Kingsley Ben-Adir as Bob Marley, alongside Lashana Lynch, who plays his wife Rita Marley. Ben-Adir and Lynch both appeared in less than impressive Marvel projects, considered by many to be some of the worst MCU movie and TV productions ever made, including myself. Ben-Adir played Gravik in the Disney Plus show Secret Invasion. Remember that one? And Lynch played Maria Rambeau, having appeared in Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange 2022, and the post-credit scene in The Marvels. Ouch, that one was bad. But I'm happy to say that Bob Marley One Love is not in the same category as those two disappointing Marvel productions. One Love is actually a pretty good movie.
So, what did you think?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Now, there are a lot of things to like about this movie, and I have to say that it completely surprised me as to how much I enjoyed watching it. Was it perfect? No. And no movie ever is or can be. But what Reinaldo Marcus Green did was open up Bob Marley's life and show who this man was, his message, and the music he made, with the chance to inspire a new generation who may not be as familiar with who he is, what he did, and some of the amazing music that came from his mind. Some people suggested that the movie didn't go deep enough into who Bob Marley was, what made him tick, or his personal relationship with his wife Rita. Some wanted a closer look into how the music was made and the politics that surrounded him, given his incredible success as a global superstar and the political turmoil in his native Jamaica.
Buffalo soldier in the heart of America.
But asking for all of this in less than 2 hours of screen time is pretty much an impossible task. There were 3 writers who wrote the screenplay, all of whom have very impressive resumes. Most notably, Terrence Winter, who wrote 73 episodes of The Sopranos, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Boardwalk Empire. Their combined writing skills are more than adequate, as they've created some of the best TV and movie scripts in the 2000s.
I'm impressed.
Being a screenwriter myself, I understand how difficult it can be to juggle many elements at once within a story. And if you try to put too much in, you will make nothing but a sloppy mess with no coherent storyline for an audience to emotionally attach themselves to. The screenplay and how Reinaldo Marcus Green decided to film this movie was an excellent mix that brought to the forefront various elements that influenced Bob Marley and his music.
Go on.
It placed his music as the fulcrum of the story and touched on various aspects of his life that had an influence on him and his music. It gave you enough reggae music jive that made you want to play a mix of his best songs after leaving the theater, as well as understanding the message that his music represented. There's only so much you can do with 107 minutes of screen time. If you go too deep into one direction, you can confuse aspects of the story and create a 3-hour monster that loses its focus and its charm. If there's one word that I would use to describe this movie, it would be honest. It felt genuine, and that could be because the Marley family was integral in helping to develop this movie.
He's telling the truth.
But it also has a lot to do with the fact that the writers and director knew their limitations and presented this biography of Bob Marley that intrigued and kept the audience's attention. It's easy for someone to say that the movie should have spent more time on this part of his life or that part. But if the screenplay goes too far down a certain aspect of Bob Marley's life, the writers have to resolve it and balance it with other elements in his life that the movie is also trying to show. Soon you have a 3-hour movie monster that's lost all of its charm and its focus. Ridley Scott's Napoleon is a great example. But whether it's Napoleon or Bob Marley, the lives of people who have literally changed the world cannot be fully told in the span of 2 hours. The life of Bob Marley could easily be a 2 or 3 season streaming TV show. But the writers were developing a screenplay for a movie, and they had to decide on how to tell a comprehensive and compelling story with very limited time. I thought they did an excellent job in portraying Bob Marley's life in a way that heightened your curiosity about who this man was.
I'm Batman.
It's impossible for a movie to tell the whole story, but the story it did tell was engaging with the emotional moments that genuinely made you feel for who this man was and gave you a sense of attachment to his message of hope and his music. The production was superb, as was the editing. Marcus Green used a number of different shooting methods and camera styles to enhance the visual feel. Camera techniques and angles that added texture to the scene that you will have probably missed if you weren't paying attention to them. Quick little zoom ins and outs, as well as a traditional and a free, or what's called a unsteady camera style. The lighting and cinematography were also ideal, produced by a movie crew that knew what they were doing and a director who knew what he wanted to do with a well-written screenplay. Kingsley Ben-Adir did an excellent job portraying this iconic music legend. I easily connected with him, and he obviously put in the time to come as close as he could to portraying Bob Marley in an authentic way. There was a sense of passion in this movie, a feeling that everyone involved in putting it together, from the writers to the editors, had a strong connection with who Bob Marley was and what the story was that they wanted to tell. Now, there are a couple of things that I can be critical about. The accents were hard to understand at times, which is also a good thing because it brought authenticity to the performances.
I didn't understand a one word you said.
I actually didn't mind, but I know some people did have a problem with it. There was enough context within the story to figure out the parts you may have missed in the dialogue. It's similar to Brad Pitt's character in Snatch.
Just way back.
Can't really understand much of what is being said.
You tell me. Come about the camera.
Mr. O'Neill.
Fuck, man. Call me Mickey.
He was hard to understand, but for the most part, you got the gist of what he was saying. The other thing would be the subplots that deal with his younger life. They felt out of place at times, and I questioned whether they even needed to be there. It's a creative choice, but I'm not sure that they really landed the way they were intended. But by the end of the movie, I felt good. I felt as though I watched a well-put-together film that was able to balance a number of aspects of his life while placing focus on the music that came from this music legend. It's a movie where a person who knew very little about him could watch and become enamored by who he was, find appreciation for his music and the message he presented to the world. This is an easy movie to recommend, and I think it's going to do exceptionally well at the box office. It had a budget of $70 million, and I wouldn't be surprised if it has a $250 to $300 million final take. Bob Marley One Love is going to be one of the year's best releases and deserves positive attention. Making a movie is no easy task, and making one about an iconic music legend makes it that much harder. Overall, I think they did a really good job in creating an honest and enjoyable 1 hour and 47 minutes about an iconic musical legend. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving Bob Marley One Love a score of 7.5. If you like what you heard, I thank you for watching. And if you didn't like it, well, I thank you all the same. And I'll see you in our next video.